All right, welcome to my FX Buddies, the podcast. And I say podcast because there are multiple mediums in which you can engage with this content. But my favorite way is the blog. And the blog is parked at myfxbuddies.blogspot.com. I know that's a lot to remember or type, so wherever you are watching or listening, look for a prompt of more info, intro, description, something of that nature. Click there, another box opens, and a link is there to the blog, the free blog, where you don't even have to put in your email, and I don't sell anything. All right. Uh, so yeah. Now this one, I don't have any. Well, remember, I didn't think I was gonna update today. I didn't think there would be anything worthy, but boy, did they surprise me. Okay, so but there's nothing, no, like sometimes I have little fun things or whatever. But if you listened to yesterday's episode, and why didn't you? If you didn't, it's okay. When this video pops up, a link to it is going to pop up. But anyway, if you heard me, I was like, oh, I don't want to see that. I don't want to see that. And it was 3 guys that jumped over the building. But let me tell you, it turned out to be a positive thing. So they were being chased by some masked goons. I'll say that. But I really don't know what's going. Actually, I think there's a civil aggression going on somewhere. But anyway, that's neither here nor there. So these the masked gentlemen were chasing these 3 young guys. And when I say young, maybe late teens, early 20s, and they were at a balcony and they had nowhere to go. Well, nowadays the people that are doing these acts, clearly they were going to uh, make them no longer living in this world. So while he was getting the camera, it was a cell phone, but he was fumbling because they wear gloves and they got all this equipment. While he was getting the camera ready, one guy jumped over and the other 2 followed. And so they ended up getting away. I'm sure they probably got hurt, maybe broke some bones, but they got away. Isn't that hilarious? I mean, like I said, I don't know the circumstances, but I just have been watching these things long enough to know someone with a huge pew pew chasing someone who doesn't have any pew pews, that's usually not good. And plus, like I said, since they were getting ready to film whatever they were getting ready to do. But see, God works in everyone's life, right? Because that was nothing but God. And I hope they thanked whoever they believe in or whatever. I hope they thanked them. So, and then, do you think those people got arrested? I don't think they got arrested, but they did show that because you could tell by their reaction. Because remember, I turned away and I stopped watching, but um, once I found out it had a positive ending, you could tell by their reactions. Um, they were mad. So that lets me know they got away. All right, talk about quick thinking, right? I mean, wouldn't you do that? I'm so glad I live in America and in this time, right? Because. Anyway, all right, so let's get into it. So it's Saturday, July 19th, and we had 2 really good articles, which prompted me to do this. So since I was updating, I said, let me throw in this other stuff too. But IMF confirms Iraq is stable. So what's next for the Iraqi dinar? And that is not clickbait. Wait till I read the article to you. So here's the boring headline they had. Iraq has succeeded in maintaining its internal stability. All right. So, and this is from today. See, it says the IMF confirmed on Saturday. Because when I first saw it, I was like, oh, that's that guy doing another chopped up article on the 64-page report. But no, this is something new today. That Iraq has succeeded in maintaining its internal stability despite regional tensions, while indicating that the inflation rate in Iraq has remained low. Let's see. So they repeat that again. It's a little different. Iraq has succeeded in maintaining its internal stability despite regional tensions and unstable global conditions, right? Noting that the inflation rate has remained low in Iraq, stressing the need to implement fundamental reforms to increase non-oil revenues and control the public wage bill. Now, I don't even know what that is. That might be the salary bill for the people, but first time I've heard that. Indicating that current and investment spending plans for 2025 should be reviewed. So there you go, person who asked me about the 3 years. They're going to do them all together, but they got to get 2025 done. Okay, it stressed that it is necessary and urgent to reform the public pension system, which we care nothing about, reducing accumulation and replacement rates, praising the success of the Central Bank of Iraq in fully transitioning to the new trade finance system and its contribution to narrowing the gap between the official and parallel exchange rates. Yay! So someone is watching it because it seems like I'm the only one excited that it's getting lower. And I'll show you. So this is just the only time I'm going to bounce around to the bottom because I forgot to put this, it should be right there. But so here was the parallel market rate report for Saturday. And it said the Iraqi dinar edged lower. But look, there's 2 places where it's under 1400. So it's been in Baghdad, it's been under 1400. So it's not what did it get to? I can't even remember. 1305, 13 something. It got lower. 1390. That was what the lowest. But these are the closing rates, which sometimes we don't even get rates on Saturdays. So, yeah. So now, instead of just having one place where it's under 1400, there's 2 places where the buy price is under 1400. So, I'm looking forward to this week. Okay, so now we'll go back to where we were. All right. So then there's just one more paragraph there. You could read that. But it does say, we encourage Iraq to accelerate, things and electricity and all that. All right. So now here's my buddy. It took all week. I've been asking all week, where is Iraq? Can you tell me where Iraq is? What is he up to? But I don't know. This article is kind of ambiguous. It doesn't have any dates, but I'll take it. Iraq's ascension to international financial institutions enhances economic development opportunities. So, and there's really nothing new in here. We know they joined the European Bank for Reconstruction and Development. That was most recent. They've been a member of the Asian Infrastructure Investment Bank. If you don't know about that, you could research that. AIIB. What is AIIB? When did Iraq join? If you what is it? AI it or internet search it, you'll get information. So that's not new. Projects and bridges, they have actually taken a loan, or I don't know if it's considered a loan or if the AIIB considers it an investment. See that? According to the investment portion of the budget. So it's long term. They say these ventures are long term, but it opens them up to $100 billion. No, but it opens them up to billions that so they don't have to borrow internally. They don't have to borrow from, say, China. Well, it is the Asian Infrastructure Bank, but you know, yeah. So if you want to read that, I thought that was, you know, I always laugh when, um, when I get an answer, but you see, it doesn't say, oh, today, Saturday, right? It just has him and it has some kind of meeting and they're talking. But I still want to know what he's been up to. But anyway, all right. So here they got another bank award, but this was a bank in Mosul. The World Union of Arab Bankers presented the first Leadership and Excellence Award for supporting the growth of small and medium businesses in Iraq for 2025 to Mosul Bank for Development and Investment. And that's just great because Mosul was pretty damaged. It was the last one, the last stronghold for is, and if you put those two together and say them, right? And they had booby trapped it and just really, it was devastating. So, here they are back in running, and now one of their banks is winning an award for excellence. Monday, they're going to have a session. I don't know how I don't know how many people are going to go because they have really negative statements. Like, so the general reason is to discuss the fire incident. And so there's comments like, what good does it have a meeting? We'll never see our loved ones again. You can't pay us. Although they do. They have a martyrs fund. But I don't know. They may not qualify. But anyway, that doesn't matter. So, but now, here, a general topic for discussion regarding the terrorist aggression with scones, phones, and cones on the Kurdistan region, because guess what? They are revealing, right? Because they probably already knew, but they're revealing they know where the cones, scones, and phones, where they came from and who manufactured them. And you might be surprised. But first, strengthening the national economy. Parliament prepares to approve the Industrial Investment Law. So see, I'm always telling you guys, it's not only about the exchange rate change. They need to pass all these laws too. So this one they have been working on, but it's not on the docket, not docket, what do they call it? It's not on the agenda for this Monday session, but they intend to pass it before this legislation session is over. All right, so here's my one commercial. If you want to support my FX buddies, when this blog is live, this Buy Me a Coffee will be a live link. The Cash App is always live. $ lowercase letters, Tish Wash. T as in Tom, I, S as in Sam, H, WASH, and PayPal. And thank you in advance. Big or small, I appreciate it all. And I need to make that's a better color, right? You can't even see that. Anyway, all right, so yeah, here. This was another, I think, worthy post. The Kurdistan Regional Government identifies the launch site of, there's the word there that I keep putting 3 words, right? That, what's my word for that word? Selected the region's oil fields. So, I mean, you can read all that. Whatever, right? I just want whoever did it to be caught and punished to the highest severity of punishment possible, right? Isn't that what the guy said? The Epicure guy? Isn't that what he said? Anyway, so look at this. Sadani met with these people. He had 2 meetings. Look at that room, how big that room is. So these are his people. That's my phone. These are the Shia people. And see, this is a different type of person. And then there's business people, people dressed as regular people, and there was a journalist from Egypt there because they talked about this meeting in the Egyptian news. Egypt. Matter of fact, let's see. I was going to show you something. Oh, no. Well, here, let me just show you this since I'm here. Look at this. American companies enter Syria's energy sector, plan to rebuild. So we're already up in there. That's why they're fast tracking everything. And if you listen to yesterday's episode, there was at the very end I was like, oh, and no one's talking about it, but there's a ceasefire that was brokered between Syria, Ice Cream Land, and We Helped. So I'm like, that's a pretty big deal. Why isn't anyone talking about it? I mean, I'm talking about in other news, right? Other world news. But so there was an article about it, and his people, the Syria's president's people, they're like, oh yeah, you agreed to that. We didn't agree to that. So we'll have to see what happens. Oh my gosh. But anyway, so here's just another picture from the other side of the room with the people that he's talking to. And what are they talking about? Several things. We are redrawing Baghdad's service and economic map. He also tells them things are going to get better. No mention of the money or the exchange rate. Here's something about these two roads. So here, I put this article had a little more detail. That's why I went with this one. But I just wanted you to see, this was a pretty serious meeting. There was one other thing. See, they're going to resume work on stalled projects for especially hospitals, roads, bridges, stuff we take for granted, right? We plan to open Baghdad to a larger network of internal connections and start rebuilding neighborhoods with infrastructure projects. So lots of promises. Where's he getting all that money from? I guess he's like, vote for me and look at all this stuff you're gonna get, right? Then he talked about how Iraq is in the midst of a region inflamed with conflicts, but we have kept our principal position and we work wisely and responsibly to avoid slipping into the conflicts. And that is, even in that IMF uh, article I read, didn't it say something like that? That they're staying out of things even though all around them is yeah, not so good. Okay, Kurdistan and the salary crisis. This has a new phrase. This is why I posted this because nothing's changed. It's still, see, the winds of an agreement are blowing again between the Kurds and Iraq, Baghdad. The time, however, it is conditional, fragile, and tied to the immediate delivery of the region's oil to the state oil company, SOMO, amounting to blah, blah, blah. There appears to be familiar repetition of pattern of short-term functional agreements, right? So, whatever. Now, but I do want to point out here, they're mentioning this is a temporary solution. So remember yesterday I was saying, I think this is outside of the budget, but we shall see. So now the new phrase that I haven't seen before is this: subsequent settlement following an audit. So see, that's why, unfortunately, if you're going to read articles, you have to read and read and read because they'll take one they already did and then they'll put a new sentence in there like that. So, and it's for the non-oil revenues. But they are everything they're going every barrel of oil and every dollar on both sides is going to be audited now until it all falls apart and they fight again, right? I'm just kidding. But after that, hopefully we'll be gone and then they could do that, right? All right. And here is another like, oh no, this is Daddy Barzani. Okay. So the reason why I posted this was because behind the scenes, this Stephen Kenneth, what's his name? Stephen, whatever, Fagan. Maybe I'll just call him Kenneth. Anyway, he met with Barzani. But see, this guy, he's a representative of Washington. He's the charge d'affaires to Iraq. But remember, him and Fuad Hussein, they had several meetings away from both parties, away from Baghdad. Well, kind of. Fuad Hussein is the deputy prime minister, so it's really not away from Baghdad. So I think they're the ones who probably did some finagling and arm twisting to get the deal done. But hey, whatever, it's done. And so now he's back meeting with Daddy Barzani. Okay, it says the U.S. regulation welcomed the recent agreement between the two governments. Blah, 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 right? Yeah, so yay, great. Then now they can peacefully coexist. All right, and I just wanted you to see this market. They're still on track. They're still on track to deliver the May salaries tomorrow, so we'll see. And this article basically is saying, yeah, so what? You're giving us May, but what about June? What about just getting a regular payment schedule for us so we can live life knowing when we're going to get paid, right? So the market people are like, nobody's shopping. Well, yeah, they didn't get the money yet, number one. And see, it says the Kurdish citizen needs 6 months to regain their economic health. So I just feel, because they're smart people, right? That they have to do multiple conversions probably in their head because they shop Turkish goods and Iranian goods and all these things, right? So I know we here in America tend to think they're not smart, but they're smart. Okay, so if they know there's a problem, sometimes they don't get paid for 2 months. They probably save money, right? But here, they're going on almost 3 months of not getting paid. So even if they did have a stash, it probably got depleted, right? While they were waiting. So heck yeah, I wouldn't be spending. I would buy, what are they, essentials and wait until June money comes in and then July and August, and then I would be out there spending. And they have there's another major holiday coming, Arboreen, the pilgrimage of Arboreen. But yeah, see, so Kareem, whoever Kareem is, an economic expert, says dispersing a single month's salary won't revive the markets, but it will contribute somewhat to their momentum as they need 6 months. All right, and then here's another one. Why did I put this one? Oh yeah, that's going to be the thumbnail. So there's nothing new in here. Just I didn't even make those. I didn't even make those blue. I don't know why those are blue. Oh, maybe they're links. Oh, but they won't be live right now. But anyway, yeah, so I think that's it. I think that's the last article. Yeah, so thank you. I hope you enjoyed your Saturday. I did. And talking with one of my boys. He's hilarious. I mean, they're both hilarious, but in different ways. Anyway, so yeah, so I posted this because I'm hoping tomorrow we get bombarded with really good news. This is good news, right? But I hope we get really good news tomorrow. And that's it. Yeah, so like, subscribe, join, follow, because I don't post regularly, and supposedly if you activate those things and everything goes right, you get notified when I post. What else? What else? I talked about the link. Yeah, that's it. Thanks again. Enjoy the rest of your morning, night, noon, whatever time frame you are indulging in this content. And until tomorrow, I am going to put it out there. Until tomorrow. Oh, I see there, and you didn't even remind me. Accumulate while we wait for the rate to appreciate. Don't miss any meals and pay all your bills. I knew I was forgetting something, but somebody tapped me on the noggin and I remembered. All right, now I'm out of here.